How's it going, guys? In this video I'm going to be unboxing the Rogers Blackberry Priv. Now, a quick look at the box itself. On the back it's got the most important detail that you need to know is that it supports Qualcomm Quick Charge 2.0. On the right hand side we've got all the IME and all that funny stuff. So anyways, let's go ahead and let's get right into the unboxing. Now I'll talk a little when I'm unboxing the phone, so I just want to let you know I've been waiting for this device ever since it was announced. This is pretty much one of the most anticipated phones this year, at least for me. So I'm really happy that it's here on my hands, and I'm really thankful for Rogers to making that happen. So anyways, opening the box, the first thing we found here is the device itself. It looks nice, it feels nice in the hand too, but we'll just toss it over to the side for now and let's look at the contents inside. So the first thing you're greeted with is some paperwork, and that I believe is the user manual. So we'll toss that to the side too, and then we've got a white paper here that says you can sign up for some warranty stuff, which we don't really care about at the moment. Another paperwork which I'm not going to read at the moment. I don't really care much about that. Okay, so we've got another box here, and well, I believe it is more paperwork that I will never ever read, nor anyone else will care about. So anyways, contents inside the box. Finally, you've got your charger, and then you've got a decent USB 2.0 cable. I believe it looks quite nice and long, and then you've got a box which has some headphones in there. So that's all it for what comes inside the box. Now let's go ahead and peel off the protective stickers from the front and the back of the brand new Blackberry Priv. Well, now with all the wrappers taken off, this is the Priv in all its full glory. As you can see, the keyboard can be accessed by swiping up from the bottom with both fingers. And overall, the build quality of this phone feels really nice in the hand. The back has this sort of carbon fiber texture to it, which feels really nice and grippy. I won't say it's plasticky. It obviously is made out of plastic, but it doesn't feel that way. It has this really nice sort of like what's it called, leather sort of texture, leather slash carbon fiber. Feels really nice in the hand nonetheless. Now on the right hand side of the phone you've got the volume buttons along with a dedicated pause and play button, and on the very top we've got the SIM card and the SD card slot, which is nicely covered. And on the left hand side we've got the power button, and then on the very bottom I see a 3.5mm headphone jack along with a micro USB port. Now while the device is being set up, we'll just talk quickly about the specs on this phone. Now it's packing a Qualcomm 808 Snapdragon processor. It's got an Adreno 418 graphics card. It's actually a hexa-core device, so it's got 4 cores which are clocked in at 1.44 GHz, while the other 2 are clocked in at 1.6 GHz. It's got 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigabytes of internal storage. Now, however, that storage is expandable up to 200 gigs via a micro SD card slot. And on the cameras, the rear facing camera is an 18 megapixel shooter, and the front facing camera is actually a 2 megapixel shooter. Now while setting it up, an update just came through, and that's always a good sign, so we'll go ahead and install that. And let's not forget, this is actually an Android device, so I was able to set up tap and go straight from my Nexus 6P, thanks to the fact that the Blackberry Priv has NFC, so that was actually a nice touch. Now while it's being set up, which it will obviously take some time, let's go ahead and take a look with some size comparisons with the Priv and some devices. So here it is right next to my aluminium Nexus 6P, and as you can see, the 6P is obviously slimmer, but the 6P is also taller, and that's that with the 6P. Over here we have it next to the OnePlus 2. The OnePlus 2 again is almost the same height. I would say it's maybe a little bit slimmer, but the Priv is obviously definitely wider than the OnePlus 2, and now it's next to an iPhone 6s. Well, the 6s is obviously a small device, and it's made out of aluminum, so it's really slim and sleek compared to the Blackberry Priv. Here it is next to the Galaxy S6. Well, it's obviously smaller. Maybe the S6 Edge would have been as tall as the Priv, and it would have definitely been taller, but maybe not as wide as the Priv. Now lastly, here it is next to my Moto X Play, and as you can see, they're both actually the same in thickness. The X Play is actually a bulky and heavy and thick device, so they're almost the same in that aspect. Now going through the software of the phone, it actually feels really weird because this is basically stock Android 5.0 Lollipop running on the Blackberry Priv. I never thought I would see this day, but who knew? You know, it's happened, and this is basically it. This is here, this is now, and we have an Android device, and this is it. And basically, BlackBerry did throw in some of their features. They made use of that edge screen, so you can swipe to the left, and then you can see stuff such as your calendar, your email, your recent contacts, and a whole bunch of stuff which we'll be covering later on in the full review. There is also a Detect app which determines the security of your device. I guess it monitors apps and notifies you of anything unusual. Basically, apart from that, it's pretty much stock Android. Also, as you can see, the recents menu is a little bit different. The recent apps are sort of overlaid onto each other. It's nothing bad, it's just very different. And this is the settings menu, more or less the same that you find on stock Android. There are a few additions here or there, and basically that's it. That is it with the BlackBerry Priv software. We will be covering more of this in an extensive review, which we'll be taking a look at later on. And taking a quick look at the camera, it looks pretty standard to me. You've got touch to focus, you've got a few modes here, and then you can also go into settings, and it does shoot 4K for those of you who are wondering. It shoots full 4K video, and basically a lot of this we'll cover in the final review as well. I'll have video samples and full picture samples for you guys to check out later on. Now, we can't do an initial impressions without actually trying out the physical keyboard. So in my experience, or my very little experience that I've had, the on-screen keyboard is pretty good. It's very similar to the one on BlackBerry 10 devices. If you've used any of them, you can swipe up to insert suggestions. Now, the hardware keyboard felt very nice too. It gave me that feeling that you'd find on a BlackBerry 9900 or any of BlackBerry's keyboard devices. You can swipe up where it shows on-screen predictions on exactly the side where it's showing it, so it inserts that, so that's a nice touch as well. And overall, typing was a joy. Now, this keyboard can be used for a few things too, so if you're on the home screen, you can scroll using the keyboard. You can go left or right, or if you're on a web page, you can scroll up or down as well, and you can go left and right too. Now, what I really liked about this is that it actually determines the speed of your scroll. So if you're like going really quick with your thumb up or down, it'll detect that and it'll be really fast. Or if you just slowly glide on the keyboard, it'll go real slow. So I really like the way it's handling or registering these touches. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for my initial impressions on the BlackBerry Priv. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and do subscribe to stay tuned on more of my stuff. If you have any questions, you can give them in the comment section below, or you can follow me on any of my social media channels. I will be doing an extensive review of this device, and I'll also be comparing it to several other phones which I mentioned in this video earlier on. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.